Today we're going to talk about a pop-up shop, how the pop-up shop is truly revolutionizing the world of retail. Let's start with a riddle. What do color, your ears on a plane, Mr. Andy Warhol, and that little giggling dough guy all have in common? Easy answer. They pop. And now, so does retail. We all know it's tough out there. Competition is fierce, space is expensive, margins are decreasing. Customers are informed, entitled, and more demanding than they've ever been before. So, the artist with the wig and the doughy Mr. Fresh and you guys all need to pop. It's simple. To win in today's ever-changing and evolving retail environment, you must pop up with style, with strategy, and a clear goal to transform your retail transactions into more of retail adventures. It is truly pop up or perish these days. Once just a curiosity or a members-only event, the pop-up shop is now a must-have marketing tool for retailers and retail brands of every size and every category. If you look around, you will find them. They are everywhere. According to a RetailWire.com poll, 75% of respondents see pop-up retailing increasing in the next 5 years. Temporary retail is an $80 billion, with a B, $80 billion a year industry. Let's break that down. It's $8 billion in pop-up and seasonal retail, like the Halloween stores that we're seeing on the floor outside. Another $8 billion in vacant retail marketing, the amount of money that's spent on marketing empty space. $2.8 billion on store-in-store selling. And a whopping $61.5 billion in short-term retail experiences like craft fairs, farmers markets, and flea markets, which have been around forever. So, what we're witnessing today is the rapid rise and acceptance of what we call lean retail. Inspired by the philosophy of the tech sector, lean retail borrows the very best of startup culture. There is a great tech industry mantra in just 2 words, and that is fail fast. The goal is to get an idea out into the public quickly, learn what works, and as importantly, what doesn't, and then move forward with both speed and agility to correct your actions or maximize what you're doing. It's about building cost-sensitive, ambitious, sometimes visionary tests of key business ideas, measuring the results, and then always changing your plans accordingly. As I said before, by finding out what doesn't work, we almost always find out what does. And that is what pop-up retail is all about. It's about being flexible. By being flexible and responsive, by working in real time, you can build your brand, expand your customer base, and develop new paths for your business. For a retailer or a retail brand, a pop-up is an opportunity to explore both who you are and what you can be, to redefine your brand and its physical and emotional offering. It's a chance to reinvent who you are, what you represent, what you evoke. Well-placed and beautifully executed pop-up shop can also reinvigorate your connection with your customers. It truly is a relationship builder with a customer who is more interactive than ever before and is actually demanding that kind of relationship. Who are these customers, these enlightened and empowered shoppers? Who is browsing in our stores right now and influencing our brand equity down the road? Medallion Retail did some custom research exploring buyer personas. We talked to thousands of shoppers and discovered that each primarily falls into one of 8 customer types. As I go through this, see how many of these you know, and try to put yourself into one of these categories. I'm sure you'll be able to do that. First up is the advocate. Representing 8% of the shopper population, she is your brand enthusiast and early adopter. She's a true believer. She's an influencer and an evangelist. She loves to make discoveries and then, of course, share them with everybody she knows. For her, being first is mandatory. Next, we have the caretaker. Comprising 18% of the shopper population, the caretaker has to justify each one of her purchases, spending as little time and as little money as possible. They are minimalists, and for them, good enough is good enough. A lot of us have parents that are caretakers. Meet the indulgent, quite the opposite of the caretaker. If she wants it, she's going to buy it. She's an impulse shopper who buys with her heart. If it's a must-have, then you can bet she will have, and she'll worry how to pay for it later. These retail thrill seekers make up 18% of all shoppers. Then we have the student. Nothing whatsoever to do with colleges or universities. She wants to think about every single purchase she makes. She wants to read about it and study it and talk to a few friends and then think about it some more. Documentation and details drive this slow to buy 10% of the shopper population. Here's the conventional, 9% of our shoppers. She is a consumer who plays by the rules. She's a listener and she's a good follower. Traditional and thoughtful, she follows the path that the brand sets for her. She really is a retailer's dream. The mechanist is up next. She comprises 17% of the shopper population. She loves to work the system, find deals, and work the angles. She likes a challenge, and her passion is to manipulate a situation to her best advantage. She's a retailer's nightmare. This one is me. 10% of shoppers are gradualists. The customer who buys on her own terms and only when she or he feels a real need. She will not be rushed. She takes things one step at a time, and she does not like to be pursued. Finally, one of my favorites, the sophisticated. Representing 10% of shoppers. She operates from a position of rationalized indulgence. Self-focused and discerning, the sophisticate is allergic to the word cheap. She believes you get what you pay for. She demands quality and is happy to pay the price. In fact, she often demands it if she pays the price. The downside of her personality is she demands undying devotion from the retailers and the retail brands. Each of these shoppers is very unique, but they all share one very important thing. They all seek a very real level of interaction. A need to be a part of the immediate moment, the give and take dialogue of great modern retail. Today, a large part of what they need comes in the form of social media. Every day there are new forums and platforms from which a shopper can shape her thoughts, share her thoughts. In fact, 55% of shoppers share their purchases on social networks. Her desire to be heard, to learn, and to share is very, very strong, and she makes the most of the tools she has. If she's unhappy with the service, she's going to dash off a tweet. If she's disappointed in a product, she'll write that online review. Embroiled in a not-so-satisfying transaction, she will post on Facebook. She names names, and people listen. Consumers now pay more attention to online reviews and feedback than word of mouth. So without a doubt, her wired shopper has unprecedented power in the marketplace. I know it's not news to any one of you that social media has forever changed the way retail works. Brands are expected to generate 50% of revenue from social media by 2015. And it has given our customer a real voice. It's given her an arena, followers, and feedback. It has built true community around our brands. The downside is this has given us lots of detractors, but the upside is it's given us a ton of supporters and fans at the same time. So, the perfect complement to social media interaction, current and future, is, I bet you can't guess, pop-up. When we bridge online and offline consumer engagement, we increase our selling power exponentially. It's dynamic retail in real time. Think of it as mega interaction.
Mega interaction, now that is pop-up. Pop-up is also a tangible moment in time to be discovered and shared. And if you think about it, it really truly does replicate the real time of social media. The pop-up shop can appeal to any or all of the 8 customer types that Michael just mentioned, but in very different measures. What's important is consumer segmentation, identifying and connecting with the customer personas. But how do you do this? You do this with, by playing with the psychology of shopping, by embracing retail as theater, and by putting the action back into transaction. So how about a little pop quiz? Let's take a look at what we think are some of the best pop-up shops out there, and let's talk about the customer types that they appeal to and why they appeal to the various shops. First up is this Kate Spade igloo that popped up on a busy city street that definitely appeals to the advocate that Michael mentioned, who loves the thrill of discovery. But the indulgent, who will buy when she wants to, and the sophisticate, who demands quality, will also find appeal in this very charming design. The goods are high-end, that actually goes without saying, it's Kate Spade, but their arrangement and environment are delightful and whimsical, giving the customer something to experience. This eBay mobile boutique is a hardworking pop-up, appealing to many of the customer types. The caretaker loves the simplicity of a pop-up and a brand that she has been very comfortable with buying online, and she loves to get a good deal. The advocate is happy to discover eBay right on her corner, and is happy as well to have the opportunity to go back to her friends and brag about this great pop-up that she was just able to experience. The student, again, who loves to get information, this pop-up shop is very appealing to her as well. Even the conventional will follow the path that this brand has forged for her. All right, I mean, take a look at this. It's absolutely magnificent. High impact and attention to detail. This pop-up shop is great. Its unique presentation will attract, again, almost all of the shopper types that we mentioned. Our sophisticate and our indulgent will be drawn in by the larger-than-life appeal. I mean, those shoelaces are just hanging out of there. It's great. And the advocate, again, wants to be part of the festivity, so she's not left out. But even the caretaker and the student will really enjoy this pop-up shop, if nothing else to experience something, maybe gather a little bit of information. Naver, which is a leading online portal in South Korea, created this intimate, hands-on pop-up shop that provides the student with everything that she could possibly want in order to make that purchasing decision. You'll notice the various activity zones. You've got a product trial desk, you've got an information area, a conversation area. This small space delivers huge results. And our caretaker will also get exactly what she needs and be able to experience this efficiently and very cost effectively. All right, here's another one. Louis Vuitton makes a case for pop-up literally. This is a sophisticate's dream, an advocate's mecca, an indulgence conquest. This stunning pop-up is absolutely brilliant in its simplicity. Details matter here. In fact, they're highlighted. That's what this brand is all about. The mechanist and the caretaker will meet at this functional but beautiful boutique called Finn in Union Square in San Francisco, proving what can be done with very thoughtful display, smart use of space, and strategic merchandising. This pop-up just days before was an empty storefront, now is moving product. But it doesn't sacrifice on style or the experience that the customer is getting ready to have. This Ely shop is a great example of a multifunctional pop-up. With the convenience of a mobile unit and a small footprint that allows for integration into an urban landscape, this pop-up has something for everyone. As it literally unfolds, layers of interaction are revealed, grabbing the attention of the advocate and the student. The indulgent will appreciate the small touches, there's a chandelier that's hanging from the middle of that, which is absolutely spectacular. While the caretaker really appreciates that whole grab and go effect. Close interaction with the staff appeals to the student, and the right here, right now elements appeals to the gradualist. This Alice and Olivia outfit mobile blends high and low brow beautifully, playfully mixing exclusivity with better get it while you can. This shop is full of surprises. The juxtaposition of high-end fashion with the Airstream mobile creates this unexpected experience for the customer. The advocate, the indulgent, and the sophisticate love the product and will be charmed by the way it's presented. The caretaker, again, loves that whole grab and go effect, and the student gets that opportunity to experience a brand that she's never been able to before. This is another great example of how compact retail, or a compact pop-up, can work extra hard. And here's another great example. This Mark shop within a shop is an ideal example of smart use of space. Without taking up a lot of real estate, this beauty oasis offers the intimacy the indulgent craves, a high-end feel that appeals to the sophisticate, and a hands-on learning opportunity for the students. This shop proves that pop-up does not have to be huge in scale, just huge in impact. So while everything that I mentioned probably felt very unique, there were some actual common denominators. So I thought we could go through those right now. What we consider the 7 pop-up musts. You need to be temporary. You need to harness FOMO. The fear of missing out is huge. Limited time only is a very powerful phrase. 59 million US shoppers used their smartphones to showroom in 2013. So if we're able to create this here today, gone tomorrow effect, it is safe to assume that those shoppers won't be showrooming anymore. Creating a temporary opportunity will drive purchasing now. Be exclusive. Everyone wants to belong. Make shoppers feel like they're the insider. Show them something special. Give them something to care about. Give them something unique and an experience. That's what they're looking for. Be intimate. Personalization is hot in retail, and it's not going anywhere. You need to be able to speak one-on-one with your customer. What shopper doesn't want to hear just for you? I know I do. Be unexpected. Surprise and delight will never go out of style. Create that intriguing aha moment and deliver a sense of wonder for your customer. Be sensory. Tap into the emotion of shopping. Let your shopper discover your brand with all of her senses. Give her something that envelops and transports her. That's the experience that they need to have. Be specialized. Keep your messaging clear. Tell one story simply, provocatively, but most important, in your brand's true voice. And finally, you need to be social. It goes without saying, give them reasons to care and to share. Merging your social media activities with your pop-up experience makes both efforts work harder, and your dividends will grow exponentially. In fact, we believe that pop-up has to be part of your overall marketing mix. So as you consider strategies for advertising and social media and PR and mobile and promotions, you need to work pop-up into the mix. You'll find that when you do this strategically and with creative vision, pop-up will enhance all of those other disciplines as well. So aside from supercharging your marketing mix, why else should you guys consider pop-up? How about to win new customers? A fresh look or location can draw in shoppers from untapped geographies and demographics. To gather data, pop-up is a great way to do this. You can learn new things about your product, your customer, your location, your concepts, your messaging, your presentation. Just remember that when you do this, to not test too many of these things at once, or you'll dilute the overall impact that you're trying to get across. Another reason to pop up, to articulate your brand. With a pop-up, you have a chance to redefine your narrative and fine-tune the brand story that you want to tell. When you can experiment with tone and positioning and monitor responses to shifts in brand presentation, it's a win-win for everybody. And how about the opportunity to build buzz? Pop-up can do that for you as well. Be daring or playful or drop-dead gorgeous. People will notice and want to talk about it. An unheard of experience or clever event equals good PR. Remember, if they care, they will share.
So first, most importantly, understand your brand and what you want to get across. Know who you are and what type of shopper you want to appeal to. And specifically, how can pop-up impact that path and decision? You're looking for authenticity, and customers that are emotionally connected to a retailer are 4 times more likely to shop with them. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind. Second, obviously you want clear objectives and goals. Is it brand building that you're looking for? Is it a sales opportunity? Are you looking for ROI? Is it data gathering? Do you want to understand who your customer is more? Or are you there to just explain your story and very clearly hit key objectives? Overall, clarity and focus are key. And a great example of this is Warby Parker, who did a pop-up concept where they traveled the country. They called it Class Trip, and they did a fashion truck. And they wanted to bridge the gap of online and offline and go across the country growing their brand awareness. Step 3, know who you're talking to. Determine your target audience. Understand precisely who you're trying to reach, and whether that's existing or new customers, men or women, millennials or boomers, or advocates or sophisticates. Step 4, plan strategically and sweat the details. There's a few components of this. The first is budget. There's a lot of things. This breaks down to rent, deposits, utilities, what type of insurance, are you going to do improvements to the space, construction, or maintenance. So there's a lot of line items to think about. Second is location, and this is obviously one of the most important things to think about when you're doing a pop-up concept. According to the New York Times, 80% of all economic activity takes place in urban areas, so that might be a good place to start. Whenever a city doubles in size, every measure of economic activity, from construction spending to the amount of bank deposits, increases by 15%. And it doesn't matter how big the city is. It all stays the same. So finding the intersection of efficiency and the unexpected is incredibly important. Finally, what type of pop-up will work best for you? There's many different types, as you saw from what Jennifer displayed, from mobile experiences to kiosks, store-in-store concepts where you're collaborating with another brand, markets and bazaars where you're bringing in this critical mass of people into one place. So what fits your brand best and what makes the most sense? It could be any or all of those things in different ways, and each has its own set of advantages and challenges. How to design the space. Think about what restrictions you may have from the floor plan, or layout of the space. Even zoning or legal is really where sweating the details comes into importance, because there's many different things from a city to a state to a country level on what you can and cannot do, and knowing that you've crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's. Have a strong tactical plan in place for how you'll merchandise and lay out this plan. Staffing. So temporary retail staff is another huge point. Think about how these people will be your face of your brand and who people interact with, so they're a major part of the customer experience. They'll be managing your merchandise as well, and how will that happen? Will that be an in-store experience from a POS system perspective, or will you be checking out an iPad? How are you going to promote the pop-up shop? Is it a whisper campaign or an advertising supported blowout? Could it be something in between? Most definitely. Modern retail is still dependent upon hands-on involvement, and attending a branded live event drives 65% of people to recommend your brand, and 59% to buy it at retail afterwards. So it's incredibly important to have that offline experience because psychologically it brings you much farther with your customers. Finally, what type of interaction do you want to feature in your pop-up? How do you want to build your brand essence out and create an enhancing relationship with your customer? What type of events do you want to host in your space while it's open? Is it from an opening party to demonstrations to workshops, special promotions, even celebrity panels? They're all valid options and should be thought about. Retailers that invest in relationships see their sales increase by 50%. A great example of that is Kanye West. Some people may know him. And he opened up Yeezus pop-up shops during his tour from LA to Manhattan. This particular one's in New York. And in my opinion, he brilliantly executed the concept of what a pop-up shop could be, a temporary experience that was minimalistic, but included all aspects of everything that he gets across in his fashion. It brought out long lines of people. It allowed people to become more intimate with his artistic side, and he spoke directly to his audience with every look and feel of the space. The result was a connective, intimate, and almost exclusive shopping experience that hundreds of fans were able to enjoy outside of the concert experience. In the end, the critical point is this. Always keep in the back of your mind that omni-channel includes the customer, and that experience matters above all. When we say pop up or perish, we mean it, but you have to do it right, and you can't skim. There are plenty of ways to do creative shortcuts, but in the end, remember who you are, and that you're putting your name on a customer experience. Know your pop-up goals and execute them brilliantly.
Clearly, there's a lot to think about when opening the pop-up, but it's all those details that actually make it the very powerful tool that it is. It's those details that allow you to reimagine your future and reinvigorate the relationship that you can have with your customers. And it's the details that come together to create a meaningful experience for your customer and a profitable experience for you. Today in retail, pop-up is mandatory. Consumers want that connection to the brands and the products they love and to each other. They want the most fulfilling shopping experience that they can possibly have, seeking monetary and emotional value. They shop with their intelligence, that's for sure, but they also shop with their hearts and their imaginations. Pop-up gives them the ability to do all of that. To us, it is a very important, and pop-up or perish, it's the way to go. So I thank you all for the presentation, for listening to us. I hope you were able to get some great information. We'd love to open it up to some questions.
What type of data can you gather from a pop-up store versus just a retail environment? I just want to understand the data opportunities there.
I think what you need to do with any pop-up is establish your metrics up front, and that's tied directly into your goals. So what's your strategy? What's your objective? And if you're simply trying to achieve sales, then there's your metric, right? But if you're trying to build brand, you can do research, in the marketplace, pre and post, to figure out what kind of awareness you're able to build in the marketplace. So there's a million different metrics that you can measure from a good pop-up experience. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve. A pop-up can do almost anything.
I'd say one of the biggest things that you can do or learn from an experience like that is with the flexibility you have to be able to go to different neighborhoods or different sides of the street even You can understand a lot about what types of customers are coming in your store and converting. And there's also a lot of interesting technology out there that allow you to take advantage of promotions like beacons, track different foot traffic, and understand like, through someone's mobile phone or even through their tone of voice who's coming in your store and what type of shopper it is. And that might bring out some interesting surprises that maybe you didn't know about before. That maybe some of these different shopper types, more of them appeal to your brand than you thought.
Jennifer, I have one for you. You had mentioned that one of the 7 things that a pop-up must be is temporary. Could you define that? That's a month, 90 days, 120 days, a year?
Yes, all the above. To us, pop-up is all of that because in a traditional retail environment that's more permanent. So this allows you to be able to be flexible. And again, depending on where you're going to go, what the environment is, if you're a mobile kiosk or you're a tent, that obviously is a shorter period. But if you go into an empty storefront, you could do it for months, a week, or years. So it really all depends.
Do you recommend to do like expectations that something is going to pop up real soon, or just like pop up from now?
Part of what makes pop-up work is the element of surprise. And I mean, not to say that you can't do a teaser campaign to kind of put a taste in the community's mouth, so to speak, let them know something is coming, and then fulfill it. But if you over communicate on that, you draw away some of the charm that a great pop-up has. So I think a combination of both.
How do you determine the best location for a pop-up, or are there any things that you look for to determine what would make this location more successful to set up than another location?
One thing I really want to emphasize with you guys is the whole thing that makes pop-up work is not being afraid to try things. And it's a low-risk venture because I mean, of course it can be tremendously expensive if you want it to be, like Louis Vuitton was. But for the most part, pop-up is all about trial and error. So you can go into a marketplace, use your gut instincts, put it in probably an urban setting that you think has, I mean, you could go and look at traffic and see if you feel like it's a good fit for your brand, and throw it up there and see if it goes. If it doesn't, then no harm, no foul. Just move it to the next places you find what works.
Yeah, I think obviously you want to aim for high foot traffic areas. So getting people in the store, that's going to help you immensely. And then deciding what neighborhood fits your brand the best. Like a brand like Nasty Gal may want to be in West Hollywood, where Louis Vuitton might want to be in Soho. So I think that also factors in. It's like, who do you want to reach in, and how do you want to express the brand?
You said it's a low
Any other questions?
Yeah, right here.
You said it's a low risk thing, but have you seen examples where a pop-up has actually failed and hurt the brand?
Yeah, I mean, where I've seen it hurt the brand. That can happen with anything, right? That can happen with an ad campaign. No, and I think that if you put a pop-up up and you're attracting the wrong audience or no audience, and that's a fail. So I mentioned earlier about failing fast. Get out and minimize the damage and move to a place where you're actually building your brand.
Since pop-up is a great way for experimenting with your brand, are you noticing a trend specifically with online-only brands actually moving into brick-and-mortar type of situations with the pop-up as a test?
Yeah, it's a very interesting answer. He talked about that. What the online brands are missing is this touch and feel interaction with their customers. They're dying to get a hold of that. And yes, that will be a tremendous trend going forward. We're going to see a ton of that. Why? Because they can do it inexpensively and at low risk.
They're looking at doing it, and they're looking at doing it in a way that they can track all the metrics like they do online. If you look at like Bonobos or Warby Parker or any of these like really hot e-commerce brands, they're all coming offline and doing different things, so they can have that experience. They can let people touch, feel things. They don't even necessarily need to hold inventory. Like one example of a brand we work with is called Indochino. They do custom suits. You get a custom suit 2 weeks after you order it, and they just do all checkout through their iPad, which is basically through their e-commerce site, and they just have enough so that you can see the different patterns. You can get fitted, you can try and test and feel things, but then that's all the inventory that they need to hold. So a lot of people looking at different ways like that and how to increase that relationship without having to have a hard, fast, permanent location.
Just a quick question, which market do you see a bigger opportunity in brands? Because so many brands become retailers. A lot of times this is a way they can test the waters. Brands or retailers? Which do you see?
You're asking which brands or retailers could succeed better in pop-up?
Yeah, where is the market headed? Are there more brands doing pop-ups or more retailers doing pop-ups?
I don't have data on that, but I can tell you a retailer is a brand, and a brand is a brand. So I think they both can benefit just as much as each. I wouldn't see any difference in benefit, but trending wise, I would guess brands. I think brands have bigger budgets, and they're willing to take risks. Even this is perceived as a peripheral exercise, but our whole premise here is that it should be a core exercise. It's very low risk, and there's a lot of return. So we'd like to see both sides of that equation rise dramatically. Thanks for coming today. We really appreciate it.